Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of The Articulate Fly, and we're back with another Southwest Virginia fishing report with Matt Reilly. How you doing, Matt?
Doing good, Marvin. How are you?
As always, just trying to stay out of trouble, but now we can't say we're trying to stay cool because it's pretty cool. It's in the Carolinas as well as Southwest Virginia.
Oh yeah, it's been real nice. I had I think it was Sunday morning. I left my house at 6:30 in the morning. It was 49 degrees in my house. And our, kind of midday highs have been somewhere in the upper 70s, low 80s, which is pretty cool for this time of year for sure.
Yeah. So you think we've turned the corner? Is that your prediction?
No, that's, and I feel like every year, it's definitely a little abnormal where we are, but we definitely have some cool weather every year, sometime around the middle of August, I say. And then, it's just a pinball game between now and end of October, really. Some years even later than that, but very possible for us to have, in the month of October, have snow or have 80 degrees, so it's just going to be a game of bouncing around between now and fall. But I think we'll see the hot weather again, and that's all right with me because the fishing tends to get better this time of year the warmer it is. So
yeah, and of course the way we got to these lower temperatures is we've had a pretty fair amount of rain. So how's that impacting your water?
Yeah, we seemed like it rained every day in July, and then it has dried out a little bit in the last week or so, but we had a pretty good shot there Sunday night, Monday morning. And see, the new is on the rise today. It's up close to 5,000 below Radford at the moment. Lots of dirty water coming down from North Carolina and the upper river. And then our trout streams got a little bump too. So they're still very fishable. Trout fishing should be good right now because we've got some cooler weather and, like I said, some elevated flows. So I would expect that to be real good. But really, we don't have much rain in the forecast until next week. So I think everything should be good fishing certainly in the next couple of days. But the bright side to having these rain events is that, the river's not dead low like it was this time last summer. So we've still got good stream flows, but that just means there's going to be a couple of days here and there you can't fish.
Yeah. And you were saying that, despite our conversations in the past about, you might want to fish a streamer or something on the bottom, it's pretty much bugs, right?
It's bugs. And that has a lot to do with the fact that, I think we have spoken in some previous podcasts about this, but the bug is really the primary, foraging event for some of the bigger fish right now. We've had dog day cicadas out since the end of June, and the first wave of bugs is starting to die off and end up in the river. So, all of our big fish for the last week have been coming on bugs, and the most days have been very, very buggy, just across the board, with numbers of fish and smaller fish eating them too. So that's definitely the name of the game right now. And that definitely does fluctuate. If you've got heavy rain, obviously we're not bug fishing. Heavy raindrops tends to kind of steal the bugs' thunder, flatten down on the surface, but switching to streamer fishing in those instances is good. And then, sometimes I'm just pulling over on the side of the river for 30 minutes if we get rain because I know that our bigger fish opportunities go up fishing a bug. And most of the time this time of year, if you have rain roll through in the afternoon, it'll be gone pretty quick. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing day to day right now.
Well, sounds like a plan. And we've got a question from Will, and he wanted, it's kind of funny with us talking about weather cooling off. He wanted to start to get your advice about targeting fall smallies.
Yeah. So that's a good question. So the fall smallmouth period, I really, it probably doesn't line up with the season perfectly. I would say it's usually very early October when fall kind of kicks off. We usually have a big cold front. Sometimes it's a hurricane or, just a cold snap and some rain or something like that. But it tends to send some of those bigger fish packing, and they've occupied a particular haunt all summer, and they'll kind of abandon that, and they'll start to pod up and cruise around. And just like the springtime, the fall is another time frame where feeding activity is driven more by instinct than it is weather patterns or water temperature or anything like that. Not that those things don't influence activity on a day-to-day basis, but whereas in the summertime, a couple of degrees in water temperature fluctuation could shut fish down or heat them up. In the fall and in the spring, there's these kind of looming events, being the spawning and then winter, that just instinctually tell a fish that they need to eat. And they need to eat a lot because they're not going to for a long period of time. So come that time of year, starting in early October, start doing a lot more streamer fishing again. You can certainly get away with topwater fishing because they'll still eat bugs all the way, sometimes all the way through the month of October. But, generally you've got cooler water, and again, the foraging event that's going on is those fish are generally keen on bait fish because those are kind of the biggest, piece of protein that they can get. The water temperature's cooled off, so they don't have to worry as much about burning calories like they do in the peak of the summer. And those bugs are starting to dry up a little bit. So they'll still eat a bug because they know what they look like and they've been eating them for months. But streamers become the name of the game, and it's just kind of a backwards progression from the springtime. You're following them from springtime water or summertime water rather, into, as it gets colder and colder and colder, into, kind of way station type areas, pockets and rapids and eddies and that kind of thing, into slower, kind of wintering habitat and just slowing down for them as the water temperature gets down there into the 40s again. But, all throughout that 65 to 50 degree water temp range, they'll still stay fairly active if you can find them, just because, again, they have to eat. So fall becomes more of a covering water kind of time frame, and because the fish do pod up, sometimes there's areas that are just kind of devoid of fish, but then you'll come into an area that's packed full of fish. So like I said, that time of year we're doing a lot more covering water with streamers, and that's a big fish time frame too, because they tend to get heavier than they are in the summer because they're eating a lot and the water temperature and their metabolism is dropping. But as it gets colder, just like in the springtime, you tend to catch fewer fish, certainly fewer small fish, and more big fish on average. So it's another trophy time frame and another favorite time of mine to be out there.
Yeah, got it. And I would imagine too, that probably means, fish fast until you find some and then work that area. And if you don't get any more, keep on moving faster.
I would say so. Yeah. And another thing that can come in handy to that time of year, again, just like in the spring, fishing can be good, even early in the morning, even though, air and water temperatures are low, and fishing fairly aggressively can get fish to eat. So, that's something to keep in mind too.
Yeah, got it. Folks, and we love questions on the articulate fly. You can email them to us. You can DM us on social media. You can even drop them into the comments to our social media feeds, and, whatever's easiest for you. And if we use your question, I will send you some articulate fly swag. And we were in a drawing for something cool for Matt at the end of the season. And Matt, before I let you go, I know with the weather, you've been scheduling and rescheduling folks, and you probably have some open days. And, you're also starting to think about muskie season. You want to let folks know kind of what you have and how to find you?
Yeah, we're pretty much solid. I just had September 26th open up. But otherwise we're pretty much booked solid till October. But like we just talked about, October, sometimes early November can be a great time to be on the river and catch some of those bigger fish. We're not necessarily fishing top water, though we may be. But it's still a great time, beautiful time of year to be on the river too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as we get into that month of October too, we're really starting to do some different things, fall and winter. Even though it gets a little less comfortable, there's a lot of fishing opportunities. We'll be fishing trout a lot more. We'll be doing some streamer floats on the tailwaters down in Tennessee. Be muskie fishing. So, if any of those are your jam, we've got some days for that in October, November, December that we're looking to fill. So reach out however you feel best, and we'll look forward to talking to you.
Well, there you go. Well, listen, folks, you owe it to yourself to get out there and catch a few. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Matt.
Thanks, Marvin.